Fresh goes better, Mentos freshness. Fresh goes better, it's Mentos fresh and full of life. Super facts. What's up, y'all? Did you like my song? I liked my song. It was a good song. Mentos song is underrated in its lyrical quality as well as its melodies. Good worded. I was in my comments yesterday, and this woman was like, get out the Quran, Lupe. Why are you referencing stuff from the Quran? Even though I didn't reference anything from the Quran. They were like, don't you know that Muhammad was a false prophet? Peace be upon him. Because it was about eating pork. And people took me eating pork as referencing the Quran. I wasn't really, didn't say it because it was religious. I just said it because people eat pork on the 4th of July. The barbecue ribs and such. But anyway, she's right. It's in the Quran, you shouldn't eat pork. But it's also in the Bible that you shouldn't eat pork. I think it's in Leviticus. If it's not in Leviticus, it's in Deuteronomy. We're not going to get into that, though, because I'm not a biblical scholar. You know, I studied the Hebrew Bible intensely, and the New Testament. Probably more than I've studied the Quran. Either way. The point of this super fact is that religions are weird. Somebody else said something in another comment that was about go to Saudi Arabia or go to the Middle East and be a woman and see how independent you feel. And I was like, no. But they were based it on religious oppression, supposed oppression of women in particular countries in the Middle East. Religions are weird. Not just mine. All of them. Have you ever stepped back and looked at religion? It's not bashing it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing religion. I'm observing that it's weird. When you compare them to each other, the things you have to do in certain religions, some of the rituals and practices, I mean, it get weird real fast. And my religion's, it's kind of weird. I ain't gonna front. It's kind of weird. There's a black box in the middle of the desert. It's weird. I mean, do I think that it's wrong? No, I don't think it's wrong. I mean, think of the stories. We live in modern times. We live in times of logic, rationale, and reason. And we can't escape that. That's just the times that we live in. You see the people that do, they try and like isolate themselves in very extreme ways to pull themselves from society, to try and get away from the temptations of the city or society, and create these weird compounds and cult-like situations and things like that just to get away from society. To each their own. it's called monasteries in Buddhism and different religions. Excuse me. They create these monasteries, and that's them trying to isolate themselves. But it's still weird. It's still weird when you relate. The reason I brought up the idea that, or the comment that we live in an age of reason, is because we can't escape it unless we go to those monasteries. But then we also are still forced to look at religions that were generated outside of the age of reason, and things that to our modern minds don't necessarily make a whole lot of sense. Now we can take ourselves outside of the age of reason, or the thoughts that we've developed and the mental mechanisms of how we process thought, and try to apply and put ourselves, whether through dress or customs, eat with our hands and different stuff like that, to put ourselves back in those days, to maybe get to eliminate some of the weirdness. As much as our religions are different and they separate us, the combinatory factor that relates all of them is that they're weird. So you should be hesitant to critique another religion for its weirdness or its backwardness without embracing the weirdness and backwardness of your own religion. The customs and the practices that you do, which are strange, foreign, related to other religions' practices. But even the ones that they share, some of them are kind of weird. So who are you with your weirdo religion? Responsible for all kinds of atrocities. Every religion has just a record of atrocities, but why is my atrocity, which I'll embrace, the atrocity that a particular sect in a particular period of time in a very particular place against a very particular people, why is my atrocity that much more vicious than your atrocity, which was meted out against a particular people by a particular sect of your religion, claiming and owning, propagating a specific style of your religion, and then bringing that to bear on the lives and deaths and afterlives of other folks? Why is mine just so horrible and yours is just accepted? Why is that? At the end of the day, I would say, and no disrespect, I love spirituality. We are part spirit. But it's weird. And yours is just as weird as mine. But we find what works for us, and we move through it to the best of our abilities. We try and find tolerance and patience along the edges where our religions intersect. And on both sides, there's intolerant folks who are not so patient, who are just willing to lash out to impress upon other folks the validity of their practices over others, even though their practices are, in practice, just as strange, just as mystical, just as unprovable until you get to the next life, right? Or wrong. But that's just the way I see it. Mentos, fresh this. Mentos, fresh it for the line. Super fat.